From a single piece of ordinary beef, it is possible to create a soup concentrate that will remain preserved for more than 2 years. This is the exact method that American families utilized to survive during the 1930s throughout the era of the Great Depression. In those times, store shelves were completely empty, and people lacked the money to purchase even the most basic necessities. With just 3 simple ingredients, you can produce one cube that transforms into a portion of hot soup in only 60 seconds. Today, I am demonstrating the comprehensive technique, the very same one that people relied upon 90 years ago. To begin, I have 1.5 pounds of bone-in beef characterized by thick layers of fat. You might wonder why this specific cut is necessary. It is because we require both the fat and the bone for this process. Fat represents essential calories and provides the necessary flavor profile. The bone serves as a concentrate of vital minerals and collagen. That collagen is precisely the element that ensures our frozen cubes remain dense and firm, allowing them to hold their shape without falling apart. In this scenario, expensive lean cuts of meat are entirely useless. People living through the Depression understood this reality well. Cheap bone-in meat is actually the most nutritious cut you can obtain. We start by setting the heat to maximum. It is vital to develop a crust on the meat. This crust seals the juices inside and imparts a deep, dark color to the resulting broth. If you skip this crucial step, your cubes will turn out pale and bland. While the meat is searing on the heat, I am preparing 2 onions and a carrot by cutting them into large chunks. I cut them large because every ingredient will eventually be processed in the blender later on. The onion acts as a natural flavor enhancer, giving the soup a deep and rich taste. The carrot contributes a natural sweetness and vibrant color, along with beta-carotene, which becomes extremely important when food sources are limited. I am genuinely curious to know if you have ever stored food for the long term. Please tell me in the comments, as I want to know how many people here are actually preparing for the future. Now the meat has become nicely browned. I am adding whole garlic cloves directly into the pan. They immediately release their intense aroma into the hot butter. At this point, I take a spoon and begin the process of basting the meat from above. This allows the meat to cook from both the bottom and the top simultaneously, ensuring that every single drop of juice remains trapped inside. Once the meat is finished cooking, I remove it from the pan and immediately wrap it in aluminum foil for 2 to 3 minutes. This specific step is mandatory. Currently, the muscle fibers are contracted and all the internal juice is under significant pressure. The foil wrap creates a steam bath environment, allowing the fibers to relax and the juice to redistribute itself evenly throughout the meat. It is important to note that we are not washing the pan at this stage. The pan currently holds the meat juices, the aromatic butter, and the caramelized bits stuck to the bottom. That residue is pure, concentrated flavor. I pour the chopped onions and carrots straight into that same pan. While they cook, I unwrap the meat and begin cutting it into small chunks. These pieces are then placed into the blender along with the sautéed vegetables. You might ask why we use beef instead of pork. Beef contains higher levels of iron, zinc, and collagen, which are precisely the nutrients often lacking in a restricted diet. Furthermore, beef fat is much firmer, which helps the cube maintain its shape better, and it does not go rancid as quickly as pork when stored in the freezer. While pork is tender and contains more fat, beef is significantly more nutritious in survival situations. Now let's look at the bones that are left over. Do not throw these away under any circumstances. You can simmer these bones for more than 12 hours to extract a collagen concentrate that is capable of rebuilding joints and connective tissue. That is an entirely separate survival recipe on its own. If this video manages to reach 500 likes, I will demonstrate that specific bone recipe on camera. Go ahead and hit the like button right now to help the counter reach that goal. I move the roasted vegetables from the pan into the blender. I add just enough hot water to allow the mixture to move freely, and then I blend it until it is completely smooth. I am always fascinated to see how far these traditional recipes travel across the world. Please write in the comments where you are watching from and show your country's flag. Next, I add the meat chunks to the blender and process everything again. The goal is for everything to become one thick, uniform mass. If the mixture appears too thick for the blender to handle, you can add a small amount of additional water. We are looking for the consistency of a thick porridge that is capable of holding its shape. I then add 3 teaspoons of salt. In this recipe, salt is not used merely for flavor. It functions as a vital preservative. The combination of salt and the freezing process is what allows these cubes to remain fresh for more than 2 years. If you do not own a blender, do not worry. You can simply chop the meat and vegetables as finely as possible using a sharp knife. Mix everything thoroughly and press the mixture into a mold. While the texture will be slightly coarser, the flavor profile and the shelf life will remain exactly the same. I take a baking dish and line it carefully with parchment paper to ensure that nothing sticks to the surface. I pour our prepared mixture into the dish and spread it out into an even layer. The thickness should be between half an inch and just under an inch. Maintaining an even thickness is important because that is how you ensure you get uniform cubes. I place the dish into the freezer for approximately 2 hours. By that time, the mass will be firm enough to slice cleanly, but it will not yet be frozen solid. After 2 hours, I take it out of the freezer. You can see that it holds its shape perfectly. The time in the freezer allowed the mass to set into a firm, dense block that cuts very cleanly. I begin cutting the block into cubes that are roughly 2 inches by 1 1/4 inches. I try to keep them all the same size because one cube represents exactly one portion. A bigger cube results in a larger portion, while a smaller cube results in a smaller one. By keeping the size consistent, you will always know exactly how many servings you have in your reserve. Look at how many cubes are produced from just this one dish. We have over 20 portions of hot soup. That is 20 individual meals from a single piece of meat, 1 carrot, and 2 onions. This demonstrates the true power of this technique, using minimum ingredients to achieve maximum output. I proceed to wrap every individual cube in foil. Do not rush this part of the process. Wrap them tightly as the foil protects the meat against freezer burn and prevents any outside odors from seeping in. 6 months from now, when you pull a cube out of the freezer, it should still smell like fresh beef, not like the other items stored in your freezer. Each individual cube contains approximately 170 to 200 calories. This includes the beef, butter, and vegetables, providing animal protein, collagen, and natural fats rather than empty calories. It is a complete nutritional concentrate, roughly the size of your thumb. One batch from this single dish provides you with 20 to 25 cubes. You only need to cook once to be able to eat for 2 years. Now for the moment of truth. I take one cube out of the freezer and unwrap the foil. The aroma is already incredible. I place it in a bowl and pour boiling water directly over it. Look at the result. In just 1 minute, you have a thick, dark, and aromatic soup. It has a rich color and a dense consistency, with a smell that suggests it has been simmering on the stove for hours. This is not a powder, it is not a commercial bouillon cube, and it contains no chemicals. This is real meat and real vegetables compressed into a single block. It is hot, filling, and delicious in only 60 seconds. If this story of survival and resourcefulness changes the way you look at the simple ingredients in your kitchen, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are dedicated to uncovering the history and the skills that they have tried to bury over time. It is time to Geo Trong Tuong Lai. Plant the seeds for your future. Our next historical treasure of knowledge will be opened very soon.